Love podcast, hey nonsense. It's a PoliticsJOE Pubcast.
You enjoyed that?
I didn't. I really don't like.
Lick the stamp.
And send it. The scythe swing is still remorseless, Ava Santina.
The side swing is still remorseless.
Absolutely.
The side swing.
Scythes.
The scythe's swing.
Still remorseless. Still maintains coming for us all.
When was she? What's this?
Don't know.
What's happening?
They like it. They get it. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't.
Did anyone else get it? Yeah. Oh.
Sean got it.
Yeah, but you probably briefed him.
Yeah, it was a prank.
Is it one of your like Lord of the Fairies things or something?
Lord of the Fairies
What's
things.
the flies? Rings.
I feel like I owe the audience some explanation about my Lord of the Rings fandom.
Yeah.
In that I'm not really a Lord of the Rings fan.
Right.
You
just watch it all the time.
I've seen the films once and I've never read the books.
And you've gone to Comic-Con.
No, not true. You're just lying. You're just lying now.
Is Lord of the Rings Comic-Con?
I imagine there must be some stuff, Lord of the Rings stuff at Comic-Con. But
what else is at Comic-Con?
Like anime stuff.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Yeah. I like that one.
You like Star Wars? What other stuff is that? I imagine there would be some like video game characters.
Yeah.
Probably. There might be someone dressed up as Tony Blair.
Would you like that?
That's the worst cosplay of all time. You've gone as Tony Blair. How are you? How was your weekend?
Yeah, fine. How was yours?
It was good. Cards on the table, we both got tickets to Glastonbury.
Oh yeah, we did, yeah.
Which will enrage a lot of people.
Yeah, but can I just say that I didn't try?
In what sense?
Well, I was listening to Gardener's Question Time on Do Not Disturb, as I like to do on a Sunday morning. Normally a replay. You know, I don't like to do it live in case sometimes they get too into sea kelp and I don't like that, so I have to skip through. More of a fan of their hedge talk. And then when I did turn my phone off, Do Not Disturb, I had like I had about 120 frantic messages and I had tickets.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah. Are we going to talk about Glastonbury later or should we just do it now?
Let's talk about Glastonbury.
Just do it now?
We're going to come to the politics of Glastonbury later.
Okay.
Real heads of the podcast will remember our conversation with Tom Usher about it.
Yeah.
From a really early episode after I'd just come back.
Oh yeah, he loved it. He was all over it.
Yeah, loved it. But also it's quite funny that we're two middle class media types going to Glastonbury, which will enrage.
Oh yeah. But I mean, everything I does enrages people, so whatever.
That is a good point.
Everything I do.
We need to offer a hearty PoliticsJOE congratulations to friend of the podcast, Javier Milei.
Oh yeah,
the new president of Argentina. We're a strict enemy of Peronism on the podcast, and we also agree that there should be no ministry for sports and tourism.
Yeah,
and that should be abolished. And I look forward to looking up his other policies soon. And I hope this doesn't come back to bite me.
He's got a message actually. He sent me a little message earlier.
Have you?
Al zurdo de mierda no le podés dar ni un milímetro.
¿Me puede definir zurdo de mierda? Que no
Todos los que, digamos, los colectivistas, los que ponen...
Sí. Vale.
For non-Spanish speakers.
He said, bunch of leftards, the collectivists.
And that's the kind of diplomacy we can expect from friend of the podcast, Javier Milei.
That's actually, I was watching that intensely this morning because my Spanish doesn't extend to leftard, so I was trying to work out what that was.
Is it literally like a combination of the Spanish words for left and...
No, it's not that at all.
Oh, it's just like most similar translation.
But I did learn that triggered, you know, like
right,
if you're triggered, it's like le duele, which is like hurts themselves, you know.
Oh,
like,
interesting.
So it was like, he was like it's going to go, las colectivistas, le duele. And I was like, Javier, you get it.
Have you seen the thing of him with the chainsaw on that car?
Yeah.
So that is actually not dissimilar to the stunts the Lib Dems do when they win a blue onesie. I think I really hope they're getting a good look at what they look like to everyone else.
That's really
Ed
funny.
Davey with a big hammer knocking down a blue wall. You look as mental as that man. That is, it's not
you
a good
thought
look.
he looked mental?
Yes, no, you're right. The guy looked really cool standing in a car, wielding a chainsaw inches from his supporters' heads. He looked sensible, and that's why we're glad he's the new president of Argentina.
Yeah.
Le
duele.
duele. Speaking of outlandish big personalities, Nigel Farage is in the jungle now, as widely reported.
You didn't watch it though, did you?
No, I don't watch linear television because I'm not over 50.
Well, I don't watch linear television either.
You listen to linear radio. You're strict linear radio.
I am actually. I'm a radio person. Yeah, and also, it means I don't have to have the license.
Yep.
They'll never catch me.
You'll never catch me.
I do have a TV license, all right?
Yeah, for disclosure, everyone has. We all have a TV license.
Yeah.
We've never received the letters. No one's under investigation.
I've actually had a TV license person in my house before.
Really?
Yeah.
By they were pursuing you or?
Well, they were doing the building.
Right.
They were investigating if you had a TV license. And I did have a TV license. So I was like, come in.
Look, iPlayer, legal.
And they do really weird checks. So the check is first they have to figure out how to work your TV.
There were stories at uni of people moving their TV out for the day. They knew the inspectors were coming.
But you just don't open the door to them. You don't have to open the door.
Don't have to.
There's some really... Do you know, the reason why I hold such contempt for them, because, the TV license and the TV license people are two separate entities, right? The TV license, good, supplies good local journalism. We like it. That's fine. That's how you keep all the little local radio stations in business, and we like it. On the other side of that, you've got these people who work for the TV licensing company. And did you read the other week, quite a few testimonies came out of people who'd been fined and taken to court over TV licensing. And it is actually heartbreaking.
Really?
There was one woman who'd written, I'm so sorry. I've been in a domestic abusive relationship. Here's the crime reference number. There was a crime reference number. He held all my money. I was having to eat at work or out of food banks. I now have money and I've set up a payment plan and I will pay this. Slapped her with a £225 court charge.
Christ.
I mean, they just suck.
Yeah, we're pro-Mille, anti-TV license collectors. Nigel Farage is back in the news.
Tangent
over. Yeah. Discussion begins. Nigel Farage is in the jungle.
Brexit is back on the table.
Brexit's back. What do we think?
When I was watching it last night, the group chats were going wild with, wow, he's coming across really well. Oh my God, he's coming across really well. Oh my God, he seems really normal. Yes.
That's the whole point.
Yes.
It's not a new angle for Nigel Farage.
How do you think he managed to convince half of the country that, to leave the European Union?
Yeah.
It's because he's quite personable. And his entire campaign at the beginning was going to pubs, talking to people, getting the word out.
That's what you envisage him with a pint. As in the old test of would you have a pint with this politician? It seems like Nigel Farage does nothing but have pints with people. And it is it's an effective marketing campaign.
Yeah.
And then, so you said last week that this is to do with Reform's plan to campaign for PR, proportional representation. That's his new Brexit.
Yeah, so back a couple of years ago, he did say he wouldn't run again to be a member of parliament or to do, run it to be anything political. And if first past the post was still in place, he would only consider it if there was another voting system. And that voting system is PR.
So he's now looking to overturn the electoral system of this country so we can get into parliament.
Yeah.
He's got some big balls.
Yeah.
To do it.
I'm not very... there was a write-up in the Times over the weekend. I really liked the way that they wrote up the point that we made on Pubcast.
Yes.
Quote unquote, unsubstantiated claims of proportional representation. Yeah, I mean, I went and spoke to the people and then told you what they said.
Yeah.
But, That's fine. You can just demean the point if you'd like to. Why don't you make that point again about how, he's probably joining the Conservative Party. Grow up. Do some analysis.
So lots of people's objection to Nigel Farage being on this programme, apart from like his general reputation, his past behaviour, is that one criticism is he is a current politician. Excuse me, he's looking to get back involved in politics at some point if he's going to go and do a PR thing. So it's not just him having a laugh at the end of his career, similar to Anne Widdecombe on Strictly, say.
No.
He's looking to get goodwill. And so on this platform, he can behave as he is, as like a kind of charming, likeable person. And his actions will not be held to account. He'll not be under any scrutiny. And the people are expecting his campmates to put him under some scrutiny. And that list is Grace Dent and Nella Rose and Sam Thompson from Made in Chelsea.
Well, Sam Thompson's got a heck of a job ahead of him, hasn't it? I'm glad we brought in the big guns.
Sam Thompson looking to become the presenter of Newsnight after this.
Yeah.
I think there's too much pressure on Sam Thompson to take this to stop Nigel Farage in his tracks.
Yeah.
Once and for all.
You think that they've given him what? Too much responsibility?
Yeah, I think if people are I don't think anyone seriously expects them to do that, but there is always, when politicians go in and do this, there is always like a staged like interview almost, like Charlene White did it with Matt Hancock last year, and that would have been a producer thing saying, well, we need to have some kind of criticism of Hancock. Who are you going to get to do it this year?
Well, okay, so what I think about the Hancock comparisons. So obviously a lot of people have been, making this comparison to Matt Hancock, who went on I'm a Celebrity last year to effectively launder his reputation or to alter the public perception of him, and he received quite a large sum of money and he wanted to go on there and explain why he took the decisions he did during the COVID pandemic. And that was a very self-interested push to launder his own reputation, much like his endeavours while he was in government. There's a very big difference between Hancock and Farage. They are two completely different personalities. The personality that Hancock presented last year on I'm a Celebrity, or the person he tried to portray, that is not him.
No.
That is not his personality. No. That was a mask. The person that you saw last night on I'm a Celebrity, that is exactly who Nigel Farage is. That is him, his authentic self. He is very personable. He is very good at, problem solving and getting on with people. And he is not, there was a few write-ups or tweets actually I was looking at. The write-ups didn't quite do this, but they said, he's going to find himself very alone and pushed out of the group and isolated. This is not a man who cares about that. He's done this his whole life. He's always been the rogue campaigner. That's not going to bother him.
I also don't believe that they will shun him.
No, neither do I.
It's not on like a human level. Even if you disagree with his politics, you're not going to be like, well, Nigel, here's your rice and beans. Thank you I know you've got 10 stars in the challenge today, but no turkey for you. Whatever. I don't think they will do that at all. What do you think about him being on this programme at all? People have been criticised ITV for platforming. Well, it's really, the main criticism is it's about Hancock and Farage. They've taken the brunt of this criticism, despite politicians have been involved in I'm Celebrity in the past with Nadine Dorries, Katie Dugdale, Lembit Opik.
Oh, you're not going for the big hitters.
Sorry, Mr. Cheeky Girl himself. And then you have other kind of things like Johnny Mercer is on Banged Up, the Channel 4 series, which I think is a really good TV programme. But there's no real criticism of Mercer's appearance on it.
Yeah. Do you know who we did not criticise enough for being on that programme? Is Neil Parish.
Yes.
What on earth?
For people who don't know, Banged Up is this really good, I really like it, TV series where the HMP Shrewsbury was shut down 10 years ago and they filled it with ex-reformed prisoners who've been asked to behave as they would in a prison. And they put celebrities in, like Ricky from EastEnders and Neil Parish.
Peter Hitchens?
Peter Hitchens, sorry, yeah, no, that's the best part. Peter Hitchens is there.
Ricky from EastEnders.
Ricky from EastEnders.
That was your most memorable.
I think he's one of the main characters. He's in it. I'm only like halfway through, but he's in it. He's been very present in my watching.
If you had to be in a prison cell
with
Neil Parish, Ricky from EastEnders or Peter Hitchens? Who would you choose?
Probably Ricky from EastEnders.
Really?
He seems the most normal.
Do you think?
Yes, one's Peter Hitchens. One watched porn in the House of Parliament.
I'd love to be in a room with Neil Parish and just sit there being like, what the fuck was that? Like, what was that? Let's
what are you
get to
doing
the
there?
bottom of this, mate. What was that?
But you don't criticise Johnny Mercer for doing that. And Johnny Mercer did the Celebrity Hunted.
Yeah.
And he's always on telly and
Yeah.
never comes under the same scrutiny. Is that because he's done nothing as controversial as Hancock and Farage?
Well, people are very selective with their criticism, aren't they? I
Yeah.
mean, you could make a quite good argument that Neil Parish, who always voted with the government whip, de facto introduced some extremely aggressive immigration policies, also voted against universal free school meals, voted for stronger protest laws. You can make quite a strong argument that they are de facto those arguments, but because there isn't a Twitter storm around them, because people haven't told you, then you're a bit more au fait with it, a bit quieter about it, you know?
I suppose we'd be remiss to not mention that Farage has associated himself with pretty odious characters, their political career, and some odious politics, and that is like a main objection to why it's been platformed.
No, but we know that, don't we?
Yes, no, we do. But I
think,
think we should tell them that we know that.
Oh, right.
That's my point.
Oh, guys, we know.
We know. We don't need like.
We're trying to talk to you from like the level of like we know, or you know that we know that you know, and so we can have a bit more of a discussion that's not just like us going, "I'm so upset."
Who's that impression of?
I don't know. I was going to like hold my nose as if I was like some, sneering commentator, but I didn't know what that meant. No, I'm trying to have a nuanced discussion with you here.
Yes, but I suppose you have to paint the whole nuance to the edges, the broad strokes too. But
the other side of the coin of that is the arguments for, well, why on earth is ITV platforming him? And it's like, guys. He's on Newsnight all the time and on Question Time, and he is on your TV screens every single night. It's not like, oh, we've just dragged up Enoch Powell. We've exhumed him.
Do you know who we should actually, as a contestant in I'm a Celebrity this year, we're having the National Front. Every single member is getting an unfettered platform.
Do you know what would actually be really fun? I'd like to go on I'd like to go on I'm a Celebrity, but as Margaret Thatcher. So I'm constantly
like
in a séance with Margaret Thatcher, and I'm doing the tasks as her, and I'm replying as her. So they'll be like, "Can you eat this serpent's eye?" And I'll be like, "1 second, Margaret." Margaret, what do you think?
What would you have me do?
And then she'd be like, I'd have to like go into one of those excavated things that they build, and they put snakes in there, and then she'll come back to me and she'll say, "We're not going in there, we closed the mines." And I'll go, "Yes, you're right."
She just thinks anything in the ground is a mine.
Yeah.
She has no understanding of what a mine actually is.
No concept of it whatsoever.
Her daughter won it, did she not? Carol Thatcher.
Margaret Thatcher's daughter.
Carol Thatcher, I'm pretty sure, won I'm a
Really?
Celebrity in like 2004.
Who knew that you had such good I'm a Celeb law?
I used to watch, like, as a child, I was a religious I'm a Celeb year.
Really?
Yeah, it was great.
Wow.
It was unbelievable television.
No, I was more of a Big Brother girl myself.
Oh, I was not a Big Brother guy.
We were big into Big Brother. I remember my mum and I watching Jade Goody and Shil Pachetti.
I do remember that, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't appointment viewing, whereas
that was like
I'm a Celebrity was.
Well, no, because that was because it was like.
Oh, during the racism stuff.
Yeah, when
then,
she
like,
went absolutely ham.
Yeah, no, that was appointment viewing, but.
God, what a time in British politics.
Do you know
when Gordon Brown had to go to India to calm it down? What the?
Say what you want about.
Where are we going? Racism.
It is good that they are putting a lot more concern about reality television contestants' mental health. It makes for a lot worse programming.
So what you're saying is bring back the racism.
That's not what I said, and not what I condone. But, like, the arguments people had on Big Brother and stuff, you just couldn't have now. rightly because people have killed themselves after being on Love Island. There is,
Yeah, I mean, but like multiple.
it's
That's what's
crazy.
wild.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you kind of think you'd kind of think after one suicide linked to your program, you just wouldn't do it anymore.
The thing is it's what's different now is you become stratospheric, right? You become so famous, which you always did. I mean, like, you know, Jade Goody was plucked from obscurity in Bermondsey and then became probably one of the most famous women in the country. But you now have social media. So when you come out of Love Island, you get hooked up with a PR agent, or you already have that PR hooked up to you. This is not proportional representation now, guys. We're talking about public relations. And you're handed back your social media accounts, and you probably went in with 1,000 followers and you come out of it with 1.4 million. And that is just a level of scrutiny and daily intrinsic scrutiny. So if you want to do this to yourself, and it's hard not to, you would go into your other inbox, wouldn't you? And you could just read thousands upon thousands of messages of people just being very personal and horrible about you. And that what that must do to your psyche is very different, I can imagine, to what just being in the newspapers did. Yeah. Because now you've got both.
Yes.
And you've got constant access to it. But you'd be more pro that, right?
Yes, no, that's good. Yeah. I actually disagree with what you said.
Do you ever send any messages to people you've seen on
hate messages? Yeah,
have you ever
so like when someone's on Come Dine With Me and they've really fucked it up, I log onto my alt and I'm like, you absolute fucking clown. That is not how you make Coco Van, you idiot. You thought a juggler was good entertainment? I hope you die. That's what I say. And then I log back onto my normal public-facing profile.
And go, lovely carrots in that cock and bun.
Quote tweeting it like, this guy is crazy. For Farage being on The Jungle, I think it is important to recognise, outside of our lefty liberal bubble, he is a popular man.
I'm trying not to be in the lefty liberal bubble. I thought that's what I was giving you.
Yes, no,
I thought I was giving you. It wasn't
a criticism of you. It was a tongue-in-cheek description.
You know what, Ed? Why don't you take your criticism somewhere else?
I wasn't criticising you.
Why don't you try and be on Come Dine With Me, all right? And feel the pressure, all right? Yeah. You can't handle the heat. Get out of the fucking kitchen, Ed.
Okay, outside of my liberal lefty bubble,
right? Yeah,
you're not. You don't share it. Farage is very popular, and Brexit was famously popular in that the referendum won. So I think it's not
controversial statement.
Is it?
I was being facetious.
Okay. God, can you tell me when you're being facetious or not? my radar is off. So a lot of the criticism is coming from the left of this guy did Brexit, and in fairness, Brexit has kind of fucked up a lot of the country. But lots of people are still stubbornly pro-Brexit and as a result have a lot of goodwill to Farage. Do you think this is a similar tactic to ex-politicians launching podcasts? In that you're presenting...
I did not think you were going to throw me that curveball of a question. That's really interesting.
But it's... So you have Rory Stewart and Alistair Campbell. You have Ed Balls and George Osborne doing podcasts. You have Clive Lewis doing podcasts about the legacy of slavery in the Caribbean. You have lots of...
Yes, I think it's really fair to compare Clive Lewis's Legacy of Slavery podcast.
That's obviously not what I meant.
Rory Stewart.
I was talking about podcasts with politicians as presenters. But it's a similar tactic to make yourself...
Clive Lewis laundering his reputation.
Fuck. That's not what I meant. And everyone...
Can I just be clear that I know this is not what Ed meant? Yes, and I know most of the time Ed doesn't mean anything that I
a lot of the time, if Ava is reporting something I say, it's like 90% not true.
What other things have I said about you that are just like categorically
most
not true?
Tweets, if I'm mentioned by name in a tweet by Ava, it's like just not true. It's an embellishment of something that's happened.
But it's funny for me.
Oh yeah, really funny. No, it is funny.
Because I can sit there going, that's not even slightly true.
Yeah, and just lying about me. But Is the political podcast a more socially acceptable version of going on I'm a Celebrity?
Yeah. I actually think you're really onto something there. That's really interesting. But I guess it is kind of because it's
More
a journey
dignified.
of redemption, right?
Yeah.
So George Osborne, proper architect of austerity.
Yep.
The proper architect as opposed to the I don't know. But
Junior architect.
one of the most I'm trying to say something that's not libelous, right? Estimates between 130,000 to 300,000 excess deaths based on that policy. Now sits in a very comfortable studio and talks politics and waxes lyrical on what politicians are doing currently. And, we'll probably discuss the Farage thing and say things like, well, what should ITV have a right to bring him on or whatever. Those are the sort of people that you should be holding to account. If you can see or you can identify some kind of hypocrisy of Matt Hancock going on to I'm a Celebrity, then also direct that to,
It's not just, it's probably just because it's the biggest thing. Like it's primetime ITV television. As opposed to, I don't know what numbers. What's it called? What is that? Political currency. That is what that's called. The numbers are vastly different.
Yes, but okay. Two quick things. First thing, politicians always use ITV's This Morning, if they want to get like a nice message across. Like remember Boris Johnson in the height of COVID, he goes on there. Rishi Sunak, what booking does he take this morning? That is the first booking that every politician wants because they know that they are talking to the country, right? It's like the most widely viewed daytime program. It's on everywhere, right? The other thing about that podcast, those podcasts attract a certain kind of political mind, and people's minds somehow get changed dramatically when they hear someone say something vaguely in line with their own politics. So you could be the architect of austerity, but you also say something like, not sure about bringing David Cameron back. And people are like, oh, God, that George Osborne's so insightful. Oh, this guy gets it. Bring back the real politicians.
It's just it's confirmation bias, isn't it?
Yes.
Like, say what you want about George Osborne, but he agreed with my really specific position on public transport. So I'm going to excuse his entire political legacy. Yeah,
David Cameron, he might have, Libya might have descended into civil war after he departed, but he's got some good points on HS2.
Tell you what, statesman-like.
I think that we should clarify, or I should clarify what I mean by statesman-like.
Okay.
Actually, do you know what? I'm going to leave it. All I'm going to say is it's not necessarily complimentary.
Okay.
I think it's a very specific description that is attributed to an old Etonian, who now has a position in the cabinet. I'm not saying he looks statesman-like in a complimentary way.
Take that.
So take that.
Take that, Dave.
Yeah, put that on political currency. Oh my God, we didn't talk about Edwina Curry being on Strictly.
Oh, should we? Let's...
No, it's fine. We can just leave it as that.
Okay, well, we can talk about what other appearances by politicians on things.
Please.
So, lots of politicians have actually been on lots of things.
Mm-hmm.
George Galloway, Big Brother, Nadine Dorries and Kezia Dugdale on...
Hang on, let's just talk about George Galloway and what he did on Big Brother. The cat thing.
Yeah. What even is the context of this? He's doing a role play with another contestant on Celebrity Big Brother.
Yeah.
And he's pretending to be a cat. And it's one of the most jarring things you've ever seen.
Well, you might find it jarring. Other people might enjoy it, Ed.
Who? Find you one person who enjoyed that.
Laura.
Producer Laura? So Ava has extended her lying from just me to producer Laura as well. Ed Balls was on Strictly Come Dancing, was he not?
Yes.
As well. And Widdicombe on Strictly Come Dancing.
And name the big name who was on Strictly Come Dancing.
I'll let you say it.
You say it.
Edwina Curry. A round of applause. Friend of Pojo, Edwina Curry?
Yeah, but not a friend of eggs.
No, I don't. I don't have enough Edwina lore to keep up with you in this. I need to read several books about John Major's government.
I can recommend a few.
Splash, Penny Mordaunt was on Splash Learning to Dive.
Do you know what? That was actually an incredible piece of production, that programme.
I don't remember it.
Do you not remember it?
It was with one series like 10 years ago, wasn't it?
No, it was only a couple of years ago.
No, it was way longer than that.
No, Georgia. No, what's her name? Blonde. Only wears Essex. Literally the only person you know from there.
Amy Childs.
No. What?
She's the most famous one, isn't she?
No, but that's mental.
Why?
No, I just didn't think you were going to say what. Come on, blonde one.
Joey Essex.
Blonde woman.
Oh,
Gemma Collins.
Yes.
She was on Splash.
Was she?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She did one of the most phenomenal dives that you've ever seen. And I think we'll put it in for
this is a plug
viewers on YouTube.
For Splash. Go and watch the full series. I intend to after this, after I finish reading about Edwina Curry.
Yeah.
Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Right. The politics of Glastonbury is what we're here to talk about. We were two of the lucky few to get Glastonbury tickets. Me for the third time. How many times have you been to Glastonbury? Enough times. And people were not happy about the ticketing. So if you've never tried to get tickets for Glastonbury, it's a pretty ruthless system in that you join a digital queue. If you or any of your friends get through, you can buy up to 6 tickets. But the kind of the nature of the beast is thousands and thousands of people are left unhappy because there's a finite amount of tickets and the number of people applying are vastly disproportionate. And whenever Glastonbury is on or the tickets go on sale, there's a lot of discourse and semantics about what Glastonbury is and what Glastonbury represents.
What is Glastonbury to you, Ed?
Glastonbury to me is 5 days of pure, unadulterated liberation. People slag it off and being like, it's for middle class Land Rover driving people.
It is.
I don't think it's just for them.
Who else is it for?
Hippies.
It
is. I think the public perception of Glastonbury is very different to what it actually is. As in, the only thing people see is the stuff the BBC play.
Yeah.
And that is like a fraction of the festival. If you're only watching the Pyramid Stage, if you're only watching Chris Martin on the Pyramid Stage, then yeah, that is your perception. But there is quite a lot of countercultural things, I would say.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, there's like the whole field.
Which reminds me, Ed and I are available for booking.
We're looking forward to our appearance at Glastonbury.
I can't imagine anything funnier than meeting up with you on like the Friday morning and sitting down to do like, I don't know, a digest of like the spring budget. Like, can imagine how much you'd hate that.
Just be like, I don't have to talk about work for 5 days, and then you come and make me do work.
Yeah.
You're going to make me do that anyway. It's not going to be for work purposes.
Yeah.
Shall we meet up?
I like see you out the corner of my eye. You're like desperately hiding.
There's a by-election.
Yeah. Here, right here.
What is your perception of it?
Do you know, I don't have the interest that a lot of spectators do in it. Mm-hmm. I think about it in like the way I think about Ibiza.
Summer fun.
Sometimes I like to go to Ibiza, and I go to Ibiza and I have a nice time and I come home. Other years I have been to Tenerife and I have enjoyed myself in Tenerife, and then I have come home. There is something quite sanctimonious about Glastonbury, especially, I mean, at a certain time of the year when people come back for it and they're like, life-changing. You wouldn't get it. Life-changing.
Life-changing.
What was it? Was it really?
No, they took shrooms in Santa Field.
Yeah, paid £15 for a cider, did you?
I think that is something that a lot of people criticise about it, is the cost of it.
Yeah.
So I think it would be about £355 for a ticket this year. It was a £75 deposit. And you have to travel to Somerset, which is an additional cost. And it's like a lot of stuff in there is very expensive to buy. Like a pint was like about £7 maybe.
Oh no, we never pay that.
No, yeah. But for and in a time of kind of cost of living crisis, it is a big expense. But equally, people can save. I don't necessarily think it's an exclusionary thing. I think Glastonbury kind of goes out of his way to make it more accessible, in that a lot of vendors have a £5 meal as opposed to like paying £12 for a big Yorkshire pudding with a roast in it.
Most of my friends work it. That's how everyone goes. They've always done, most of my proper hippie friends. When I say I've got proper hippie friends.
Yeah, you have the most hippie friends.
I'm not, like I've got a group of people and one of them just got married to the River Avon. Like to protest the sewage that was being dumped in it. Like I'm not,
Yeah, you're not half-arsing it.
I'm not.
No, these people were at Woodstock in...
Another life.
Yeah.
Or their parents. Well, and they're also from, they're proper Bristol. They're not like, Bristol Uni Yar.
Do you think it's possible, Glastonbury, the scale as it is now, Glastonbury has very countercultural and political origins in the 70s and 80s. Do you think it's possible for something as big as Glastonbury to retain those roots? Or is it something for essentially, because Glastonbury is corporate now in a lot of ways, do you think it's possible to still be a channel for counterculture and politics?
What do you think?
I think there is. I think it's, people criticize it a lot for moving on for becoming more commercial, but there is a massive political element to it. There's the whole left field stuff. There's lots of interesting speakers. There's a whole thing about
could be us if you
could be us, Michael, even if you're listening. Eva and I are going to be there anyway, so let's go hand us a couple of microphones.
Yeah.
Us turning up to one of the tents and expecting them to be like, "Whoa, guys, special treat."
Yeah.
Eva and Ed from PoliticsJOE.
Yeah, who the fuck are these guys?
Yeah,
we don't even know.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
I think there is a lot of stuff like that. There's some radical politics. There's also weird, unusual stuff. There's people who, there's the green spaces where kind of all the hippies live and play steel drums and live kind of communally for a week. And there's also platforms for radical politics. This is the famous thing of Jeremy Corbyn at Glastonbury, wild ovation. Also in 2022, there was a platform for Kendrick Lamar, Phoebe Bridgers, Billie Eilish, Olivia Rodrigo to really prominently and vocally criticize the Supreme Court's judgment on Roe v. Wade. So I think, and I don't know if they necessarily encourage it, but they facilitate it, which I don't think a lot of festivals. You wouldn't get that at Reading and Leeds necessarily. I think it's built into to Glastonbury more than other festivals. Yeah,
but I mean, also on the counterculture, on the sponsored corporate side of it, that you were just lamenting that it can be quite corporate. I mean, how can a festival not be corporate anymore? Because especially one of that scale, I mean, even if you're going to go as boring as the planning laws or the noise laws that councils allow now, in the country, you can't just pitch up somewhere and have, how many people go? 250,000?
So, yeah.
Yeah, you can't just have 250,000 people turn up at a random field and have no sponsorship and no regulations. It doesn't work like that. Whatever council, Somerset Council will be like, you cannot be doing that.
That's why Lana Del Rey's set that Overran was cut off at midnight. It was planning laws.
Yeah, that is insane.
Isn't that mental?
But the NIMBYs just don't stop, do they? Can you imagine some jumped up councillor being like, Lana, 1 minute past.
It was actually the Somerset Council were backstage, not letting, they were switching, they got a big comedy lever.
Yes.
They were about to turn off. And it ticked over to midnight. And then boom.
Yeah.
And then Lana Del Rey tried to continue singing without the microphone. And believe it or not, no one could hear her.
Yeah.
Which was, I've got a good story about locals at Glastonbury.
Yeah.
My friend's grandparents live in a village that surrounds Glastonbury, the area, and due to a falling out with the Evases in the 60s, they are entitled to free tickets every year and have literally never been because of a grudge they've had with the Evases for X number of years.
There was I always find it funny, kind of the countryside versus the city argument with noise or complaints or whatever, because there are every year there's always stories about, I don't know, locals furious as festival goers descend on local village or whatever, and they're really, really upset about it. And it's guys, this festival is going to keep coming back every single year. And if you really don't like it, you possibly could move. And now the argument that we presented with is, it's not really fair. They always have da-da-da. Us lot in the cities have no control over what goes on at all. My flat for example, I get the bins collected at 1:30 every morning, and they are very, very loud. Deliveries are made at throughout the night, and it is extremely loud. There is no way to complain about this. That is just, you have to just accept it. And my argument is I have to accept that because I live there. I choose to live there. The same argument can be applied to them, right? You do choose to live here.
I think there is different, if it's a new thing, if it's a new festival, I understand people's trepidation. So where my family live in Glasgow, there was a new festival in a park, which so it's a park right by one railway station, and there wasn't, basically public transport was not equipped to deal with this level of incursion of people, and it wrecked the park for months afterwards. But equally, it looked really fun. So I think there is you could understand some people's objections to a new thing that has just started.
Oh, a new thing I can understand.
Yeah, but not Glastonbury.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty permanent fixture. That's not moving.
No, it's like the World Cup.
Huh?
If the World Cup was the same place every year, or living next to Arsenal, and you can play about
that's exactly like that. But they do, you know that. You know that people are always putting in complaints.
That's what I used to live quite near Stamford Bridge. Yeah, and people would complain about football fans coming. Yeah, people would go nuts about it.
That area of Islington is really bad for NIMBYs moving in.
Really?
Yeah, they just got this really nice pub shut. Actually, I need to check on that council application. Another very niche interest of mine
is council applications.
Is people trying to shut down pubs, old pubs, and there was one that was very local.
Oh yes, I do remember that.
It was at the top. It's near Highbury Islington Station. It's that side. But it's a really, really old pub, and someone moved in next door and then was like, "You're very noisy on a weekend at 10:00," and it's like, "Yes, there's a pub there. Live anywhere else. Live anywhere else.
It's a pub."
Yeah. And it's not like it's not like this is social housing or you're forced to live there. You have actively gone and viewed it, looked at it, gone, oh,
seen the pub.
Nice pub.
Yep.
Let's shut that down.
Yeah. I love how happening and hip Islington is late at night.
Yeah.
Let's finish it.
Yeah.
Let's finish it.
Oh, they're putting the bottles in the bin at 12 in the afternoon. Yes, of course they are.
Yeah, it's loud.
What else do you want them to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you excited for Glastonbury?
No.
No.
I will be.
Was it a long time?
I don't think I get excited about anything anymore.
Oh no. Are you okay?
Actually, that's not true. I'm really excited about the autumn statement.
Yeah, oh my, that's why Ava and I are such radically different people.
Are you excited about Glastonbury?
Very excited about Glastonbury, and professionally I'm excited about the autumn statement, which is a very different thing for me. I think your personal and professional excitements are very intertwined. And mine are not.
Yeah. It's really, I hate when people, what are your hobbies? What are your hobbies? It's like watching Parliament TV. I really like it.
Did you watch the UK Youth Parliament on Friday?
Well, it was on Saturday actually. But
see, you knowing that is so indicative. What's on Saturday?
And I didn't watch it, no.
No, I think it would be quite strange if you did, to be fair.
Were you there?
No, obviously not.
It's actually 14.
I'm a Model UN man myself.
Yeah. If you had to go back and do Model UN tomorrow, what country would you want to be?
Argentina, obviously.
Oh, yeah, for Javier.
100%. You could do whatever you wanted. And that's why it was fun. You got to be like a country with radical views on the world, maybe some anti-Western opinions, and you got to just run with it, and you got to be really obstructive. It was good fun. Yeah. I think more needs to be done for Model UN in this country and the benefits it brings. I bet quite a lot of our audience did Model UN.
Do you think?
Yeah, 100%.
Can you drop us a message if you ever did Model UN?
And tell me what country you were and how much fun you had. That would be good.
Yeah.
You mentioned the autumn statement there that you're excited for.
Yeah.
Why are you excited for it? What's going on?
What I find exciting about it is that it doesn't seem to be written at the moment.
Yeah, there's a lot of things like, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
We're not doing inheritance tax. We might cut tax.
The wild speculation on it. And I don't think that this is it's coming from pretty good journalists who have a very good line in to the Treasury. So my opinion of it is the Treasury are throwing out a couple of things focus grouping it through public opinion and then going, no, let's not do that. And then they're going to whittle it down until they finally figure out what to do. I mean, I think what they've landed on is they'll probably do 1p tax cut Wednesday and then another 1p in the spring. Boring. Give us...
What would you like them to do?
Oh, okay, Chancellor, give us nothing.
Do you think there's an audience for like a really snarky, like girly, not in the sense of like not the adjective, but like the noun girly, like you talk about for the girlies.
The verb.
No, the noun.
No, we're just saying things.
You're just saying things, but I'm like just responding like things like that to Parliament, like okay, Chancellor, give us nothing.
Yeah, I like that.
The Chancellor was serving cunt today.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm the person to start this, to be honest with you.
Oh, James Cleverly, girl boss. Yeah, maybe we should. Stephen Flynn, he ate.
I think there is.
Mari Black left no crumbs.
Go off, King. After the King's speech. My friend Doug has a long list of potential drag queen names, and he just adds to them all the time. One of them is Devolution.
That's really funny.
Which is really good.
That's really funny.
Yeah. I think it would go down well in Edinburgh amongst like gay Parliament staffers.
Yeah,
I think that's the audience.
A big audience then, yeah.
Yeah. That's what. And so Sunak is speaking today at time of record. He has not given his speech.
So the Tories are very excited because the OBR report that came out on Friday gave them a lot of headroom.
Yes,
between 25 to 30 billion pounds worth of headroom
to play with. Yeah, people say headroom a lot.
Playing with the headroom, you know, go off.
And the Tories are looking at cutting tax.
Well, yeah, I mean they can't
really. Could they raise it again?
The very simplistic reading of this is that, yes, obviously they have to offer some form of tax cuts because Sunak promised that if he got inflation down, then he would cut taxes, and the backbenchers are frothing at the mouth with something to take back to the constituency that's not like, we are eventually going to be doing Rwanda, and we stop those people climbing on the cenotaph, and, you know, shit might be really expensive at the moment, but, you know, at least you can fly the St. George's Cross again. Things like that.
It's not an election-winning manifesto. It's not
snappy.
It's not
giving.
It's not giving.
It's not giving manifesto.
I like this character.
Yeah. Wait, that could be another drag name, couldn't it? Like
Manifesto.
Yeah.
Manifesto.
I liked manifesto.
Manifesto. That is good.
Yeah.
Probably other ones. Constitution.
That's a nice one.
That is good.
That's a really good one.
I'm going to text Doug later.
Yeah.
They've got one for him.
I've got one. His could be Kezia Dugdale.
It could be. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how like name recognition. They'd be like, oh. I'm not sure. Sorry, I'm not sure. Neither Kezia Dugdale nor my friend Doug have the name recognition of that combination.
Well, you're obviously wrong because any normal person's reaction would be, oh, Kezia Dugdale. Yes, I remember when, they were on I'm a Celebrity. And, do you remember when Lembit Opik was on?
Yes.
I'm a Celebrity.
That's what it is.
Did you catch Penny Mordaunt on Splash?
Is that how you and your friends speak?
Which friends?
Not the hippie ones, I imagine.
There's like not the hippie ones. The hippie ones, we talk about big ideas,
like marrying rivers.
That was actually a really good campaign, if you think about it. Like, they were fed up of Therese Coffey dumping sewage in the River Avon. And it basically...
You wouldn't do this to my husband? You wouldn't do this to a married man?
She got married, like, fully, like, there was a proper ceremony and everything. And the dress was amazing. Actually, I'll ask her if I can put a couple of...
I'm sure it was.
Because it was actually a bit of a spectacle.
That's the equivalent of... melee with a chainsaw again. That's another just like
it's like
he would marry the dollar if he could.
You know what he'd love? He'd love another event that they do in the South Downs. It's like they build effigies. It's not the Lewis thing, but it's adjacent. They build effigies and burn them.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Of what?
Well, whatever the pressing issue is of the day.
So like
Not a person,
Oh, just the idea.
like an idea. You're thinking small scale, Ed. All right.
I think
With-
I don't have enough of an interest in
It's
abstract
more
art.
about concepts.
The concept of hunger is being defeated.
Yeah, they would probably burn hunger. Actually,
Mhm.
that would be
The concept of like the 5 wants from the Bevan report.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
So which ones did they burn
That's
from the
what
hierarchy?
that's what the bonfire is.
What like tier of the hierarchy of needs?
Well, you can't get past the first tier because we live in a society, Ed, that doesn't provide adequate shelter for people, and
I'm actually burning the concept of
nurses
capitalism.
are using food banks. So we're actually at the bottom rung of Maslow's hierarchy.
Yes. And
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, okay.
You wouldn't catch that on political currency, would you?
That's right. Is that the note to end on? Don't listen to political currency.
No, because now we've enticed them.
Well, if
Go and watch Splash.
make sure to watch. Don't watch political currency. Do watch Splash, the full season. Anything else to plug, Ava?
No, did you want to talk anything about what's in the autumn statement, or do you just
We kind of did, didn't we? Well,
did you think that they should cut inheritance tax?
no, I did not think they should cut inheritance tax. Did you?
Well, I don't know, but you stand to.
As my father has millions that he was hoping to give to me, I was looking to.
Viscount.
I
Campbell.
actually very nobly am against me inheriting more money from my billionaire father.
Yeah. What about all the podcasting funds?
Yeah. I think I owed like a bit of goal hanger as well. Yeah. Well, I think say as a bid to the country with your St George's Cross, you can wave it again. Bid also millionaires' children will be richer. Isn't a brilliant thing to say,
Well, they
especially when you
wouldn't
brought
sell
back
it like
Cameron.
that, Ed, would they? They would sell it that, we want to be the country of aspiration, and we want, you to be able to preserve. If you work hard all of your life and you happen to have bought a property in 1970 on the outskirts of Chiswick for £70,000 and it's now worth 2.5 million, you should be allowed to keep all of that.
Yes. I think
So why
that
don't
is how
you
they
grow
sell
up,
it.
Ed, and start thinking,
What the fuck?
real.
For not believing what they say.
Yeah, why don't you start being aspirational?
That's true, actually. I'm going to get up my arse and start contributing to the big society.
Yeah. It's only 4% of people that currently need to pay inheritance tax. If we dream big.
That's 4% too many.
Yeah.
If we dream big. It's actually quite a personal issue for Sunak, though, isn't it? It's quite funny that how much this would affect his children.
Well, I'm not attributing this to him because that would be, I wouldn't do that. But, there are most people who've got a shitload of money. They don't do it they don't pass it on.
No.
It's elsewhere.
Gifts.
The money is elsewhere. It's in trust. It's gifts. It's
It's not just like, well, I've got this in my NatWest current account.
Yeah. Yeah. that woman Alison,
Here's
that
a
CEO is
check.
telling everyone. Alison's been at another dinner party. Oh, how
Look
much
all-
she's got.
Look at all these warnings on my account. Yeah, have you got anything else to say about
No,
inheritance
let's wrap
tax?
that there.
Grant, thank you for listening. Ava, have you got anything else to add?
No.
Remember to subscribe to us wherever you get your podcast, whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever. And make sure to check out the subreddit for some good faith discussion and memes. See you everyone later.